Well, good morning, everybody. I appreciate you coming out. Welcome to the mothership for our 25th birthday. I mean, it's an incredible milestone for our company. And it was 25 years ago when I was 24 years old. You think about that. I'm 49 now, so I've done this more than half my life. Is when we came in, and I remember it like yesterday. We finally figured out these registers we bought from Office Depot on College Drive, and literally figured out how to program them. Then I walked outside and started waving people in, and we got actually a little bit of business that first night. And I had no idea what that would set in motion that many years ago. You know the story, you've heard about it. If this was a business plan for LSU, got the worst grade in the class, but the professor, it was only a B minus. People said it was a failing grade. He wasn't a hard grader, but the point was, concept back then was fast food and quick service restaurants were going towards more variety back then, healthy options. That's where the industry was going. And so it's like you put together a good plan. I worked in the restaurant business, so I knew it. It's a good plan, but your concept is going somewhere else. But I knew doing one thing and doing it better than anybody else would work, and that's worked for us over 25 years. So here's the 25 years of changing absolutely nothing at Cane's. I mean, literally absolutely nothing over 25 years. It's still the same menu that I cooked up that first night and served that first meal. After getting that worst grade in the business planning class, I went down to the banks, got turned down. All the Baton Rouge banks are very nice, but it was just the same thing. You have no money, you have no experience with this. Maybe you should try something else and come back to the restaurant business, but I wasn't, it actually used it as fuel. And so I went and worked at refineries in Los Angeles and Hawaii and Denver, and I went out commercial fishing in Alaska to raise money. Came back and got this great location. North Gates LSU was completely dilapidated. This was an old gas station, so they pulled the tanks out. It was a mud pit. The building was totally dilapidated, and it was a place I could come in and I could work on myself. And so I got cheap rent. But I reconstructed this place with my own hands. Look, this is 25 years ago. Look, I laid the parking lot here. I borrowed a friend's tractor and laid it all out. I actually did the plumbing under this parking lot, and I wasn't a licensed plumber. But plumbers cost money, and it's still holding today, 25 years later. And so here's where I learned humility, and I really learned the word appreciation. When the crew worked with me so hard every day, we're open every night until 3:30 a.m. except for Sundays. That was midnight. And I just worked all the time. I had this apartment up here I lived at, that upstairs, and it didn't look like this back then. It was a dump, but it was close to work. And my dog Kane was out there, and that was actually Kane 1. And here we are 25 years later with still our namesake. We're on Kane 3 now. And she's just as good as the other ones, maybe even the best I've ever had. But that gratefulness and that appreciation, and it came from the LSU community, and it came from the Baton Rouge community, because they'd come to me because they knew I was a guy frying their chicken and working so hard for his dream. And so I appreciated my crew, and I appreciated my customers, and then started really appreciating my community and LSU groups. So say it's the band had a little bit of money to do a meeting. Well, they would come out and they come support me. And so that's where I got involved with, hey, I need to get back to the community. Big Buddy office is right down the street, and I started working with Miss Gay and being a mentor and things like that. So this is where it shaped my life, and it really shaped the man I am today, and I'm so grateful for it. So grateful for it. But I had no idea where to go, and so you fast forward 25 years now, we have 600 locations, almost 600 locations in 32 states. We're actually in the Middle East too, and we're talking about international expansion now. This stuff blows me away. 38,000 crew members, right? So if we have 38,000 now, we have a lot of turnovers. Like naturally, students might work one semester or work a summer, and that's all they're gonna work. But so I've trained almost 1 million people, and most of those people are their first jobs, right? And so that's a big responsibility. It's also a really great privilege to instill values that they'll take somewhere else. Most of our people go somewhere else and work somewhere else, but they can carry that with them. That means a lot. And then we've been very fortunate and privileged to be able to give back over $100 million over our last 25 years of business back to the communities we do business in, right? And so the way I think about it is, what better way to celebrate 25 years of business success than to give back 25 million over the next 12 months to do that. So that's just a really great thing for me and my crew, and I do this on behalf of the 38,000 crew members at Raising Cane's that they're working hard. Look, they're getting ready right now. I got drive-thrus open from coast to coast right now, and there's certain people working hard, but because of that, we can do $25 million this year back to the communities we do business in. And the way I want to kick that off this morning is 2 organizations, one here in my hometown and one that goes through the state, and kick off a couple of $25,000 checks this morning. One being the Baton Rouge Area Foundation. Bill and Mukul are here to represent them. Thank you guys for coming out. Baton Rouge Area Foundation I've been involved with for a very long time, and it started off a very, very small level, what I could afford and going through. Baton Rouge Area Foundation just strategically thinks of major projects that will help Baton Rouge be a better place to live and to keep our graduates and to make us a better place. And so just the recent initiative we're working, I'm happy to support in a very tiny way, but they really made this happen with just this LSU Lakes project. I mean, this going to be a game changer for our city. And so we want to continue to support y'all. We're going to support y'all in a much bigger way, too, as we go along. And Corey's here to represent Feeding Louisiana. I love the Feeding Louisiana Love Initiative. And what I was really impressed, it's 5 different food banks across the state, hundreds of different organizations. So they basically united the state into feeding those that were hungry. I was very impressed with what you guys did during the pandemic in a very tough time, and you kept people fed. So I'll also like to call y'all out, too, on that. And anyway, just a great morning and feels really good. So I thank you all for being out here. Here's to 25 years, and here's to the next 25 years. Thank you.